Ladies and gentlemen, we are back for race 2 of the weekend series of round 1 of Zero GT season 3. That's a hell of a complex thing we got going there, but the best we got right now. Setting up the free cam here to do a tour of the grid. With me once again is Thomas Wajs. The normal driver, the number 5 Audi for this season. He missed this race due to being in Mount Tremblant, and he's not revealing what he was doing there. So speculate wildly, please.
I'm excited. I'm excited to read some exciting stories of what people thought I did there.
Sir, don't make me tell Byron. He'll have a field day about this. He's a bored man and needs something to do.
Oh, if he wants to write up a write-up, that is perfectly okay with me.
Tom is probably most famous within the Zero Racing community for entering 4 different cars last season. He drove a BMW Z4, a BMW M6. Is that the one they came out with? I think it's the M6.
Yeah, that is M6.
The McLaren MP12C and the Chevrolet Camaro before the season was done. Most notably, he tried the Camaro at Laguna Seca and did surprisingly well, I must say. I thought it would be a disaster, and you acquitted yourself admirably.
Did I not beat you in that race too?
Well, I'm just terrible at Laguna. I mean, we've established this.
Yeah, no, the Camaro, to me at least, handled surprisingly well and drove surprisingly well around that track. Others apparently don't like it as much as me.
It's confusing to me. That was not my least favorite car, but it was up there. It was my second least favorite GT3 car.
Because I think I used the Camaro at Mid-Ohio as well, and well, it went really well for me at Mid-Ohio.
Until you lost to a Mustang.
Yeah, that was a little upsetting.
Anyways, enough about the past. Let's talk about the now. We're doing the grid walk. On pole for the first time ever in Zero Racing history, despite the fact that I have got the most starts, Michael Magasevic, myself, on the pole position, first time ever. Give me a round of applause, please, everybody. Joining me on the front row is James. Joining me on the front row in the BMW is James Gill. Row 2, it's Mark Clapp-Zoul, as the free cam screws up. Thank you, free cam. All right, there we go. We're back in business. Okay. Row 2, Mark Clapp-Zoul, the number 11 BMW, along with Rick Martel, the number 84 Mercedes, top Mercedes on the grid. Matt Wheeler, the number 6 2015 specification. Mercedes is on row 3. Joining him is Wesley Stokes in the number 31 BMW. Further back, it's Martin Lauer in the number 3 Mercedes, along with the number 48 Audi of Alessio De Bonis. Then, race 1 winner, Carl Raggio's on the outside of row 5, along with the runner-up from that race, Ben Swarey, in the number 53 Audi. It's the number 17 Audi for Carl Raggio. Row 6, the last row on the grid, is the number 18 BMW of Dule Markovic and the number 27 Audi of Dave Collins. Missing from this grid, who was in race 1, is the number 16 of Mark Minahan. He DC'd during race 1, unfortunately, and while he did make it back into the comms chat, there was no way without avoiding race 1 to get him in on race 2. That's a big blow for BMW, as I think he was easily their fastest driver in the grid. So they'll have to rely on Mark Clapp-Zoul, James Gill, and Dule Markovic, and Wesley Stokes to bring home the points for the currently third place BMW squad. By the way, Tom, how does it feel to be? I mean, we're not really anywhere in the driver's standings, but how does it feel to be a member of the top team on the grid?
Well, I'd like to think that I played a big part in that. I don't know. I know you didn't, but I'd like to think that I did, at least.
This is kind of funny because I'm playing a bigger role in it than you.
Yeah, in the weekend race, but the weekday race is the one that really matters, and we all know that.
Well, we only got one result each that counted, and mine was a 5th place, and yours was a 6th place.
You know what? You can keep ruining my dreams here.
All right. Let's get on with the race. And we are go, go, go. I have a pretty good start from pole position. James Gill, not a great one. I'll tell you who's got a good start, though. Matt Wheeler, up from the third row of the grid, is going for third place. Looks like a pretty clean start. Everyone getting through corner one clean. That's real impressive. We got Clap Zool, second place. So we've held there. Then it's Matt Wheeler. Then it's Jim Gill, down from the front row to fourth place. Looks like Martin Lauer's on his tail, followed by Ben Swarey, Alessio DeBonis. Carl Raggio and company are also in the mix there. I believe Dule Markovic got the bad start. He's at the back. Now, of course, as the leader of the race on lap 1, you always have a weird problem. Because at the end of the lap, if you've not managed to clear out a second lead, there's going to be a lot of DRS behind you. And I'm well aware at this point that I'm not going to break that DRS window. It's not going to happen. So
this is the point in time where you're just kind of sitting there and praying and hoping for the best.
Pretty much, it's really all you can do. This long straightaway is just. It's not gonna be friendly to you if you don't have DRS and the car behind you does. That's just all there is to it. Matt Wheeler going a little bit aggressive. He's got the inside line heading into the kink on Mark Clapzool. That's for second place. And he's got it. At this point on the comms, he's actually actively telling me he's not going to pass me because he wants the DRS. Heading into the final corner. Here we go. And I will get to lead a lap at Bathurst for the first time ever. But right there with me, you can see the problem. I got Matt Wheeler. I've got Mark Clapzool. They've got DRS in behind me. And, well, there you go. Matt's on the DRS heading into the straightaway, and there he goes, taking the lead. I managed to hold off Clap, and in the background, and don't worry, we're going to take a closer look at that. But I just want people to enjoy that at a distance for a moment. Let's rewind this a little bit because it's a thing worth seeing. We'll just put it that way. I put that in fast forward, not rewind. Are you prepped for this, Tom?
Well, I see a mash of cars right now just hitting one another and bouncing off walls.
It's gonna get interesting. It's gonna get interesting. All right, so we're gonna ride with the I believe fourth place car of Jim Gill, and pardon me, fifth place car. Alessio DeBonis and him get together, and wow, that should be 4 DNF'd cars if we had damage on. Rick Martel caught up in that. Carl Raggio's in that. Wes Stokes is in that.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
They're all pretty much innocent parties of the 2-car accident ahead of them. I'll tell you who really benefited. Ben Swarey managed to somehow get through that unscathed and is now running around in 5th place. And
like he did it with such ease, too.
He's right up on the back of the clap train here as the battle for the final podium is on between the BMW of Clapzool, the Mercedes of Martin Lauer, and the Audi, Ben Swarey. I'm just ahead of that in second place, and Matt Wheeler pretty much running away with it at this point. He got through the cork in the bottle, and we'll see if it pays dividends. Looks like Martin Lauer going for the move for third place on Clap Zool. He's going to get it with the DRS assistance. And Ben Swarey will probably also... Nope! Clap closes the door on Swarey and retains fourth position for now. Now Lauer's looking at possibly a second place option on me, although Clap Zool not giving up. A lot of tenacity there in the BMW driver. Sixth place belonging to, I believe that's Carl Raggio in the very distant past there. You can barely see him. He's the leading car of the wiped out crew, as I'm going to probably refer to them from this point forwards.
The Crash Squad.
The Crash Squad. And just some great defensive driving there from the number 99 car, keeping that second place. Clap Zool is going up the inside of Martin Lauer, but he does not quite have the pace to make it happen. And Clap falling back into the clutches of Ben Swarey. Let's see if we use the DRS. Yep, he's on the DRS. But he's unable to put the BMW behind him, surprisingly enough, even though it doesn't look like Clap was on the DRS. In the meantime, Martin Lauer has taken second place off of Michael Magasevic.
I think Clap may have just had a faster speed coming out of the turn, giving him that little help that he needed to stay out.
It's possible. I'm surprised he held that. Meantime, we head into lap number 3. The battle continuing. As looks like now, with the DRS active, we're going to see the pass here from Ben Swarey for fourth place. And indeed we do. He puts Clap Zool in behind him. And I run wide, and that's going to allow Ben Swarey to take a second position this lap up into third place. Clap Zool also getting around me into fourth. So the battle will continue between two ancient rivals. Carl Raggio is in sixth place, followed by Alessio DeBonis, Wes Stokes, Jim Gill, Rick Martel, Dule Markovic, and don't see Dave Collins. This could be when he lost connection as well. Fortunately, had two DCs on this round. Ben Swarey giving chase to Martin Lauer for second place. Currently a Mercedes 1-2 with an Audi 3 and a BMW 4. Audi in 5th, Audi in 6th, Audi in 7th, BMW 8th, 9th for BMW, and 10th for Mercedes with Martel. Martel putting a lot of pressure on James Gill. Just an interesting tidbit. The number 84 Mercedes being driven by Rick Martel is the only duplicate car in the grid right now. Adam Dixon will also be driving the number 84 Maximilian Guts car from 2015. He eventually makes his debut. He was supposed to be in attendance to this race, but unfortunately had a work call-in. Swarey is now right on the tail of Martin Lauer, and they've dropped Clap Zool and Magasevic like a bad habit. Now quite a ways back in fourth and fifth position. Carl Raggio actually has taken over fifth, getting past Magasevic, who's dropped to sixth position. DeBonis will be next up in that train. And we missed Ben Swarey making an overtake of Martin Lauer. I assume it's just a simple DRS pass, but we'll do a quick rewind here to find out. And indeed, that is the case. Just on the DRS, heading up into the uphill section. There's just not really anything you can do as the front car without DRS. Should be noted, I think this is perhaps a flaw of DRS at Bathurst, is that there are no straightaways on the DTM calendar that are comparable in length to the Bathurst straightaways, and I think that's probably why you wouldn't really see DRS here. Carl Raggio now, next on his hit list is the 4th place car of Mark Klapzool. Championship leader currently running in 6th position. Or 5th position, pardon me. And there he goes. And Klapzool with a bit of a spin and some good avoidance driving by Magasevic and Debonis gives the Meech a spot. Klapzool will rejoin ahead of Wesley Stokes. Now on the back straight here, doesn't look like Debonis has any DRS, or he's not using it if he does. But he does have a significant draft advantage. Magasevic will defend for now. But I don't believe that Magasevic will be able to hold on to this position for much longer.
I will give you this. Watching this with a delay is slightly less exciting, especially when you're giving me the play-by-play of what's about to happen in 5 seconds.
I know, it's the problem. Well, you got to show up for the races, then you'll have the replay file.
Well, then I wouldn't have had the adventure that I did of getting locked out on the 3rd floor balcony of the cottage.
Well, this sounds like a story that needs to be told.
Well,
bit of a lag moment there. Saw Debonis' car get airborne in the replay. I don't believe that actually happened in the race.
Oh wow, yeah, he was lifting right off there.
We got a battle. We got a battle for the top BMW spot here. Mark Klapzool has been caught by Wes Stokes, and the pressure is on.
So we learned very quickly when I went onto the 3rd floor balcony that all the doors in the cottage lock behind you if you close them, if you don't unlock them. So guess who got locked out on the 3rd floor balcony?
Mr. Tom Wajs.
Guess who no one could hear from the 3rd floor balcony?
I'm going to assume you.
Oh yeah, they were all in the basement. Well, it wasn't really a basement. It was like a bottom floor, 2nd floor, 3rd floor kind of building. And the basement was where the pool table was and the TV and everything. Somebody was hanging out down there, so no one could hear me, crying, trying to get back in.
Were you afraid?
No, I ended up hopping off the balcony onto the roof, and then from the roof to the lower porch, and then from the porch downstairs to the basement.
How very Jason Bourne of you.
Their faces were fantastic when they saw me walking through the basement door after knowing I went to the 3rd floor balcony.
That would be a sight. I would have to agree. Now, does Wes Stokes have DRS here? If he does, I feel he's going to make short work of Mr. Klapzool. And there it is. DRS pass textbook from Wes Stokes. Done without contacting the opposing car, it should be mentioned. Something that the BMWs were not very good with at the weekend race, or the weekday race. And right behind them, a stereo move from Rick Martel. Oh, Jim Gill spins it. that pretty much will cost him any chance to strike back at the Mercedes driver. Out in front, Matt Wheeler. It's been a pretty lonely race for him, but you can see Ben Swarey is eating into his lead. The Audi driver definitely has the pace to possibly go after Wheeler, but I don't believe that there are enough laps to really make that a possibility. Pretty much on his own in third is Martin Lauer. Carl Raggio in fourth place, followed by Alessio DeBonis. Michael Magasevic is in sixth, pretty much on his own. Wes Stokes in seventh. He has Mark Klapzool keeping him company, but I don't believe, based on the events of this race, that Klapzool really has the pace to possibly take the fight to his BMW teammate. Rick Martel in ninth place. And James Gill bringing up the last points position in 10th. Jule Markovic running around at the back, but hey, he is on the lead lap and having a pretty solid fact-finding mission for him. We'll see. We'll keep an eye on if he can find a little bit more pace as the season progresses. Mathew Wheeler is now on to the last lap of the race. Can a 2015 spec car pick up a victory here? Swarey is in second, followed by Lauer, Raggio in fourth, DeBonis in fifth, Magasevic in sixth, Stokes is seventh, Klapzool's eighth. Ninth place is Rick Martel, and he is catching up to Klapzool. We may have a showdown for eighth place yet. There is a little bit of bad blood between Klapzool and Rick Martel from the weekday round, as you'll remember, Tom. What are the chances one of them perhaps loses their head a little bit?
I can see it happening. Whether it will actually happen, I don't think so, but there is always that slight possibility they might go off on one another.
Doesn't look like it's really going to come in. We're into the final straightaway here, and Clapp has still got, what would you call that? Probably a 3-second lead?
Yeah, 2-3 seconds. Really, this turn is really what's going to determine how fast he comes. Yeah, you know, they both did it nice and clean, so it's not going to change a whole lot.
Yeah, there's not usually a lot to really play with if you don't have DRS in this last sector.
Now, all you gotta hope on is on the sharp turn coming up ahead to the left there. If somebody screws up, overshoots it, brakes too early, brakes too late, that's your only hope of passing.
Well, the old cars take their first win of the season as the 2015 Mercedes in the hands of Matt Wheeler will stand on top of the podium. He's followed by Ben Swarey with a second podium. And, you know, we said Jason Mons had a really solid debut during the weekday race with the double wins, but double second places for Ben Swarey. A pretty solid debut for him as well. Speaking of debuts, Martin Lauer in his first round as a member of the Zero Racing crew is on the podium. Fourth place belongs to championship leader Carl Raggio, followed by Alessio DeBonis in fifth place. Michael Magasevic in sixth, seventh for Wes Stokes, eighth for Mark Klapzool, ninth for Rick Martel, and 10th for James Gill. Jule Markovic rounds off the field. Not in the points, unfortunately, though, for him. A 0-point outing for him, as well as Mark Minahan and Dave Collins. Your thoughts on the race, Tom?
I did really enjoy watching that giant cluster of accidents at the very beginning. That was probably the highlight of the race for me.
You know, the surprising thing is that's one of the biggest accidents we've ever had, but on the whole, this race was actually quite clean.
Yeah, apart from that one incident there, everything else seemed pretty good to me.
For the record, the results of that accident was Alessio picking up a 10-second penalty. That was not enough to drop him down to 6th place, though, as I was beyond 10 seconds behind him. That is the stiffest penalty that has ever been handed out in zero racing so far. It's relatively brief history. So there was discussion at the beginning of the season whether we wanted to keep the reverse grid races. Having gotten to sit there and watch a reverse grid race, were you a fan, Tom?
I am, because it gives drivers like me, the obviously the not so good drivers, a chance for a podium, but it also lets us kind of try and fight off those better drivers and see how much better they really are than us.
I agree. I think you see some different results. I think if you just did 2 standard grid races, what would be the point, really? You'd be having it's kind of like the people complain about Formula One is like, oh, there's no passing. I'm like, well, of course there's not. You get the fastest cars up front and the slowest cars at the back. Where is the passing supposed to occur?
not a whole lot changes in the race when that happens. This way, it gets a little more exciting. I guess it makes even the good drivers kind of work a little harder, because they got to try and figure out what the weaker drivers are going to do and how they're going to take that corner, what their line is going to be, whatever it may be, right?
There are definitely some drivers who have had a history of being able to attack traffic better than others during these reverse grid races. I think, for example, today Ben Swarey came from 9th on the grid to finish 2nd. Fantastic effort for him. Carl and Alessio, a little bit more of a struggle. They didn't quite get to where they were during race 1.
Yeah, the reverse grid definitely gives everyone a challenge on the track, I'd say, rather than just kind of doing a time attack lap.
Mm-hmm. So we're heading to the Norris Ring for the next round. You've raced at the Norris Ring before, Tom. What are your thoughts on the circuit and what we can probably expect?
Surprisingly, I have not raced on a Norris Ring.
You have. I've raced there with you.
Feel like you're lying to me right now.
The street course. We raced touring cars there and DTMs.
Oh, this is true. We did. I disliked it so much, I forgot about it already.
Disliked it? See, I would have thought that would be your kind of track, to be honest.
It was, but you know what I think it was? I just wasn't used to the DTM cars at that point in time, and I was just spinning out everywhere.
All right. Well, hopefully we can see on not this Wednesday, but next week. We'll have some success at the Norris Ring. Audi currently leading the team's championship by a fairly commanding figure from Mercedes and BMW. We'll be looking to extend that lead at Norris Ring. Jason Mons leads the weekday series, and the weekend is led by Carl Raggio. So we'll see what happens. Can someone finally beat Mons? Will we continue to have a lot of... The weekend series right now is real interesting. The championship is actually quite close. There's a lot of people who I think are within striking distance. It's early days yet. Obviously, there's mathematically a chance for anyone to win. But if we're looking at it realistically, I think the weekend... I think you got 3 or 4 definite candidates for potential champion when the season comes down to it. Whereas I think in the weekday, it's the Carl and Jason show. I think it's a bit of a 2-horse race.
I think this is gonna be a solid, fun season where, you know what, there might be some surprises that we weren't expecting.
Oh, I think for sure. I think the advent of the team's championship should see some drivers improve at a much more rapid rate as people have a little bit of an incentive to help them. And hopefully we can hopefully that includes you and me, and we can do the Audi team proud by being consistently there to provide a couple of points every now and then.
I think we you know what, I foresee a podium finish for both of us.
Excellent. I like that. It's positivity. All right, so that's it for today. I hope everyone enjoyed it. If you want to come up with wild hyperbole theories about what Tom was doing in Mount Tremblant, even though he did kind of give away part of it, feel free in the comment section below to discuss that as much as discussing the race. So I'm Michael Magasevic, the Zero Racing Director, and founding member Tom Wajs is with me, and we're signing off. Have a good day, everybody.
Bye.